sharing my new bullet journal setup for 2023 using my Archer & Olive book stack B5 sized notebook. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. Today I am getting my B5 notebook set up for 2023. As I mentioned, I'm using the Archer & Olive book stack notebook and I am excited. Here you see me setting up a B5 grid spacing guide. I actually had one in one of my notebooks a couple notebooks ago. I didn't have it in my last one and I missed it so much. I would give you a printable, but I actually strongly suggest you do it yourself so that you get an idea for how it fits your notebook. And also you kind of start committing those measurements to memory and it'll help you in the long run. I do share a photo up on the blog that you can go check out. But it's really simple. You break down your spacing guide into quarters, thirds, and fifths, as well as halves, as you can see. I'm just putting the heading in there. And then what you do is you stick it to the inside cover. I'm using white washi tape that I got off of Amazon. It's just plain regular washi tape. And then it flips out. So when you're setting up your notebook, you can just flip it out and it'll be visible from wherever you are in your notebook. And I really missed having this last time, so I'm excited to have it back. But we're getting started setting up a future log. I use these on and off, so I thought I'd keep it with me. The stamp set I'm using is from Ali Edwards. It's all linked down below and you can check that out. This is also a small stamp set from Ali Edwards as well, and I just kind of like having the two fonts play off of each other. I did have a stamping mistake there, and I just go back in with a fine liner and fill it in, and it's no problem. So for this theme, I am doing just watercolor florals. I think I've had floral theme for my bullet journal setups for at least a year and a half now, I think. So I thought it'd be fun to continue on that tradition. I'm basically making blobs and then going in with a monoline drawing pen and roughly sketching out the flower that I had in mind. And I thought it was a really cool effect. You'll see this on my dashboard that I show later. And this dashboard is also free for my email subscribers. I will be uploading that to the site. If you would like access to that, you can sign up for my emails and you will be given direct access to a whole bunch of fun freebies. As always, I'm adding my borders in. I actually started with one tombow and it was a little bit too green. So I went in over top with a darker green and it looked better. And it kind of fit the theme of the font and the rough sketched waterflowers. So not waterflowers, watercolored flowers. And as always for my bullet journal setup, I draw tabs in my notebook. And I'm actually coloring them in with the Archer & Olive acrylographs. You can watercolor them, I just chose not to. You can also use tombows to color them in if the watercolor is going to warp too much. I add color on both sides and I don't want the tab to warp, so that's why I didn't use the watercolors. I'm adding a lettered stamp for the month, and then just for fun, since I bought a whole bunch of stamp sets, I don't know what I was thinking, but I have a ton now and I want to use them. So I used this little set to add the lines at the bottom. And the calendar stamp set is actually my own and it's available in my shop. You can check that out. That is linked down below. And here you see me just roughly adding the lines around the watercolor flowers. And I'm just erasing the lines, the pencil lines that I drew so that I knew where I wanted to put everything. This, as you can see, is my scrap piece of paper that I use to draw my borders and color in my tabs, and it's just a mess. These last me quite a few setups before I have to recycle them. And then I'm using a corner punch. I'm cutting corners around my tabs, but then corner punching the edges of the paper so that they kind of match the rest of the notebook. And that is a Marvy corner punch, and I can link that down below. This page is for content ideas. I am trying to incorporate a digital aspect to my planning, especially when it comes to content. So I don't know, I didn't get much use out of this page last time, but I really like having that, I'm going to call it a security blanket there to capture any ideas. So while I use mine for content ideas, depending on what you do, you can use it for whatever you need, just for notes, even just knowing you have those pages there, just to jot down something quickly, I find helps, because the whole concept of, oh, I don't want to mess up. So having this space just to be free and free thinking and free flowing has been really helpful in the past to me. So these flowers are actually part from Peggy Dean's Botanical Line Drawing Notebook that you can check out. I have that linked as well, and it's super fun and easy. They've become some of my favorite flowers to draw, and yeah, just fun to add a pop of color to your layouts. I was fortunate enough to get some new lighting in my office, so that's, I don't know if you see the little bit of change there, but I think I'm going to need another one to put on the other side, because the other side now looks darker, but just nitpicking. So for this layout, it's a blog video. In the past, I've called it a Kanban board, but it's become more of a giant task list of stuff that I need to remember when I'm doing my blog posts and my videos. And before I had these separate, and I've since decided to combine them. And so while it looks super intimidating and my hand hurt after drawing all of these lines, it's just fun to have some way to keep track of videos. I've really been focusing on working ahead, and so I have various videos in various stages of editing and blog posts in various stages of being finished. So having this layout to capture all of that, especially as I work, like I said, work to get ahead, it's been helpful. So that one made it back into my bullet journal setup for 2023. If you want a close-up of the headings that I'm using, you can check that out on my blog, where I share a close-up picture, or over on Instagram, where I share a close-up picture of what exactly I do for my videos. And I smudged, or I labeled the wrong thing on that tab, so I just went back in with the acrylograph and colored it in so that I could redo my tab. So this page is a projects checklist. So here I'm capturing big projects. So I'm aiming to have this page be big projects I want to take on in the next 6 months. Since mid-July, I'll probably be setting up a new notebook. So this will capture what I want to do for the next 6 months. So there's 6 blocks, so project per month. This will tie into my bigger goals, which I'm actually using a Moxie Life goal planner this year. I'll get more into that in another video, but for now, this page ties into my goals. Again, I have a close-up on my blog and Instagram of what this looks like. You have the name, you have the priority, you have a small task list. So I have 6 tasks, 6 things to do per project. Now, some of those projects become bigger. If that's the case, then that'll become part of my weekly to-do lists in order to get that done. But otherwise, this is basically, I don't want to say a general overview, because sometimes the projects are bigger, sometimes they're smaller. But this is just a great place to capture that and see where I'm at with those projects. I used this layout for the first time in my last bullet journal, and it was really great to have a space to write those projects down. And I actually got a couple of them done, which I know, what's the point of having this project checklist if you're not going to finish them all? But hey, I don't always get done what I want to get done, so I count that as a win and I'll take it. But it was great to have, so I am including it again. So this page is the last page of my setup, and basically, for lack of a better word, I'm calling this my manifestation page. I labeled it I want, and basically it's things, not material things that I want, but things that I want to accomplish, whether that's for 2023 or long term. I'm always hesitant to write down stuff like this because I feel if it doesn't come true, then I look silly or like it's disappointing, and that's not reasonable. That's not a reasonable way to outlook to have. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna dedicate 2 pages in my notebook. Am I going to fill all of these? Maybe, maybe not, but it gives me space, and I get to write down little things I want and big things I want. And like I said, I'm gonna mostly stay away from materialistic, consumeristic things and aim more on life goals. And again, the Moxie life goal planning will tie into this a little bit, but yeah, this is just to actually write it down and put it out in the universe. So I'm excited for this layout the most, I think. And then adding my florals like I did before. Honestly, the longest part of this was waiting for stuff to dry. I live in Alberta, and one of the best parts about living here is it is very dry, so things tend to dry very quickly. So that's one of the plus sides. And then I will go in again with my fine liner and just tidy that up. So this is another stamp set that I bought recently, and this one's from Studio Calico, and again, I'm just excited to use it, and I thought this was a fun way to use it. Now, normally I would share my cover page with you at the very beginning of the setup, but at the time I wasn't happy with it, so I actually spent a little bit more time on it. So here it is. It's Hard to Dance with the Devil on Your Back by Florence and the Machine from Shake It Off. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down below. I'm so happy with how this turned out, and let me know if you use any of these layouts, if you give them a try. Thank you so much for watching today.